Hello again, I'm Kieran.
Hello again, I'm Johnny. We need to work on that introduction, don't we, Kieran, I think?
We sure do, and create our brand properly. So welcome back to the Horace Goes Podcasting for Gamers with Pong Memories podcast. I hope you've all memorised that now. This is our second episode. Let's call it a work in progress release. We're trying some new things this time. Johnny and I will be asking each other questions so that we can introduce you all to our highlights in gaming. And we're recording in a different format too. Johnny's been busy this weekend and I'm away on a business trip next week, so we don't have much time to make great content for you, our listeners. This means we're in our own homes recording through our Teams call, and hopefully it all works out just fine.
The glamour. Thanks to everyone who listened to the Alpha podcast for some great feedback and some super comments on Spotify. Please do leave more. We really do love to read what you think. We've had a couple of comments really in feedback that the games that we'd be discussing, when they were released, there wasn't really the format for these types of discussions, aside from maybe the Zap and the Crash magazines, which, to be fair, only gave one point of view. So it's good to have this kind of open discussion about those sorts of games. It's something that perhaps has been missed, and that's kind of one of the themes that I've seen, Kieran. What have they said to you?
I remember Crash. I read it a lot. Yeah, I've had some lovely feedback too. It's been humbling to hear people saying that we sound funny and professional. Good combo. I like that a lot of folks have said that it's a great topic. Even folks have been asking if we're going on YouTube. I'd say that we've probably both got faces for radio, but one day we might go full Joe Rogan. But that depends on you, the listeners, getting engaged, plus the algorithms, and who knows what those recommenders will do. Looking at the stats from the first episode, we've been listened to around the world already. The US, France, India, and even Russia, which is a surprise.
Well, I imagine that Putin's entertainment choices are fairly restricted from his bunker, and maybe this is the only thing that he can get his hands on. So
Yeah.
I'm putting money on that.
Yeah, maybe he's planning his retirement, and not many would complain about that. We've got a Facebook page now as well. Search for Horace Goes Podcasting for Gamers with Pong Memories on there, and like and follow the page to get updates on our plans. Of course, we'd love to hear from you on there too. Soon we'll add more social media and a website. So let's get into the episode. Today we want to share our highlight reel of each of our gaming lives. We've got some questions that we agreed, and each of us has an unseen, possibly unthought of question to ask each other as well. Do play along at home as well. Leave your memories and best picks on Facebook or comments on the podcast. So let me ask the first question then, which is a pretty obvious one. What, Johnny, is your favourite top 3 games of all time?
Oh, this is a really hard question to answer. But I'll say number 1, Battletoads. I think it was on Super Nintendo back in the day. I've never laughed so much, so hard in a game. It's a game where it's a 2-player cooperative game, side-scroller, but where you could actually attack your fellow compatriot if they were getting a bit too many points. And so it just led to all sorts of devious behaviour, which really tickled me. My second, it's got to be the Battlefield series. Probably Battlefield 4 is probably the best out of the bunch, but I remember first playing it on a PC, not knowing what I was doing, and starting off at an aircraft carrier, jumping into the driving seat of a helicopter, our entire team getting on that helicopter and me immediately ditching it into the water and killing everybody. I was kicked off from the server, but I laughed like an absolute drain. And then maybe the third one would be Xwing versus TIE Fighter. Maybe 90s, that one. I could be conflating this, maybe mixing up with just the TIE Fighter series, where you get the opportunity to fly alongside Darth Vader to quell a civil war.
I thought that was just
Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved that game. They're my favourite 3 games of all times for sure. And yourself, Kieran, what are your 3 faves?
Well, I failed because I put down 4, because as you say, it's a difficult question. and all of mine actually aren't even particular games, but series, to be honest. First one, the Civilization series. I mean, I played the first one way back in the 90s, and have played not all of the ones since then, but a good selection of them. Just like that. Play something, play the next turn, what's developing kind of stuff. Next set, well, the Total War series. So that mix of grand strategy, but also getting a battlefield and moving your archers around to try and ping away at something from a safe place and all that.
Do you have
drama?
You got a favourite Total War?
I played Napoleon quite a lot. I haven't played any of the recent ones because I don't think my PC's up to it, but I've enjoyed those. The Football Manager ones, or Championship Manager as it was before it got rebranded. Just, again, it's another seeing characters play through the game and one more game. Oh no, a game takes half hour to play. Oh no, and you can't save it. Damn, I'm stuck here now. And last is the XCOM series. Again, another one played back in the 90s and stuck it through. But yeah, they're all great series.
Do you remember a game called Laser Squad on Commodore 64? And I think that was, if not the direct, but there must be the spiritual successor to XCOM. I love playing that game. Can I get a fourth as well? In that case, if there's one that I cut out at the end, which probably no one's ever heard of, which is Bushido Blade, and it came, it came out on the PlayStation, and it's basically a little bit like the Monty Python Black Knight scene.
Right. Yes.
It's that between two players. And it's very kind of, in quotes, realistic. If you get caught on the arm, you can't use your arm. Get caught on the leg, then you crawl around on one knee. And it just makes for hilarity. Eventually, one person's rolling around on the ground and slashing out. Just hilarious. I had so much fun with that.
Cool. So that was your fourth one. So what is your worst game of all time?
Yes, I remember this vividly. I think it's from about 1984-85. The game Karateka. Not that it was a bad game in and of itself, but it had this game requirement that she never told you about, that you had to bow before you polished off your opponent. Although it never enforced this all the way through the game. It's kind of like a rolling side quest type game, and you polish off dozens and dozens of people. You get to the end to finish the game, and because you haven't bowed, the body lies there at the exit, and you can't get past it.
You're just going, why? What have I done wrong?
Yeah, and you can't save the game. You go right back to the beginning again. And I was like, oh, this is it. I'm never playing a computer game ever again until, like a day later I was doing something else with computers. But that's my worst. Oh, if I have a second worst game, it'll be divisive. Aliens Colonial Marines. You let me down. I love that franchise so much, and you let me down. NPC players that are on your team standing in doorways, not letting you through to escape the aliens. Terrible. Yeah, I love that game. AVP from 1997-98, brilliant game. But the latest one, 2013, I was let down and hurt. Yourself, Kieran, worst game. What is that?
Well, I can't even remember the name of it. It was more of a bad experience. Like I say, I enjoyed the Football Manager games and other kinds of sports management games, so I thought I'd download one of the more American type sports management games. And I think it was a Baseball Manager. Not really a sport that I know that well. But I thought, well, it's about hitting a ball, and surely I can work it out. But I couldn't make head or tail of it. I had no idea what the numbers meant, and there was just numbers everywhere. And so quickly did I go, I am not going to get anywhere with this, that I got a Steam refund in about an hour of installing it, which is quite impressive. But I can't remember which. It was one of the big franchises that, is like something or another 27. So it was a big game, but I just could not understand it at all.
I felt that way about there's a game, it's on VR, Quest VR, and you play poker. I can't play poker. I've known how to play it, but you play with real people, and normally I get beaten quite soundly because I've got no idea what I'm doing. This one time I just amassed a fortune through just blind luck by putting random cards. I got so much abuse. I was like, I don't even know how to play this game at all. Oh yeah, but again, have I? Great, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
Doesn't go down very well. So I know what it's like to play games that you've got no idea what you're doing.
No. Well, you've mentioned several different devices for playing on, but what's your favourite format?
Let's see, I'm really boring. I started off with a PC, and then I just got so tired of, got a game, wanted to play, install it, and it wouldn't work. I had to download drivers for whatever graphics card I had at that particular time, and sound card, and messing around. And then Driver came out on PlayStation and Metal Gear Solid, and I thought, oh, I'll get the console. And I've never really looked back. Since then I've not really had a PC for gaming with. I keep wondering about it, and that's not true. I do have an old laptop that I played the Star Wars Battlegrounds on, which I love that. But that's like a really 15-year-old laptop. Apart from that, yeah, consoles. It's just so simple. You turn it on, nothing to worry about. Everything just works. I know it sounds sad and boring, but that's for me.
But it works. Yeah. Yeah, I am a PC player, pretty much. But I have had PlayStations and various Nintendos over the years. Got a Switch at the moment, which does get played. In fact, we were all playing Mario Kart on it last night. But mostly a PC player, because there's lots of strategy games and stuff on there. So that's definitely the platform for that.
It's just, I tell you what prevents me from getting one is space, just somewhere to put it.
Yeah.
And play. That's the tricky bit.
Yeah. Console fits in the living room a lot better, definitely. Yeah. So, what hidden gem would you recommend to our glorious listeners?
I've got two. One console, Counter Spy. It's a little bit like, I don't know, like a Prince of Persia type game, but it's got this really cool 1950s art vibe, and it's sort of set in the Cold War, and so you breaking into an enemy's nuclear base, stealing their codes, etc., etc. Tremendous fun, single player, but they've kind of got a weird mixture where you can play your game, and if you're friends with somebody and they've played a game and died on the level you're on, you can go up there and steal things from their body, and then they notify you that they've done that, which is hilarious.
Nice.
But the nice thing about this is, or the horrifying thing about it, is they'll drop in like these facts about the Cold War arms race. Like the Americans had their ballistic code set to 0000, and you think, why did you do? Or the plan for nuking the moon out of orbit should the Russians decide to take it over, and you think that surely no harm can come from that.
Don't need the moon for anything, do we?
Yeah. I mean, I played for so many hours. I just loved it. It was the style, I think, more than the gameplay. Style of the substance, but it was a beautiful game. Even the intro was great. And the other one I would definitely recommend is Star Trek Bridge Commander on virtual. You have to play it on virtual reality if you don't want to, but it's great on VR. It's great for just people watching. You meet some fantastic people on there. And also, if you decide to pilot a spaceship and you've got no idea what you're doing, it's hilarious as you plunge everyone into their deaths the moment you start. So that is great fun. I would definitely recommend those two. Both, I think, super cheap. They're quite old games now, and I would definitely recommend giving them a go. And I never asked you actually, what are your hidden gems?
My hidden gem. Well, I play fairly niche games, so most of what I like, I think people would call hidden anyway. But the one I'll pick is a game called Game Dev Tycoon. It's made by an indie developer, and it was released over 10 years ago. And just thinking about that being 10 years ago is a shocker. It's a very small world and what you can do that you can operate in the game. Literally, you start in a garage, but there aren't that many screens in the game. Pretty much there's one throughout the whole thing. But it scales really well, and it's fun. You get to design your own games and choose a genre and put some elements in and build your own game engine and stuff like this.
Uh-huh.
So it's pretty straightforward and basic, but it just gets the right feel, and there's some fun in there and some comedy in there. I like economic type games like Theme Park or Railroad Tycoon, It's nowhere near as complex as those, but it's just fun. And that's an industry that I've worked in, so it felt a little bit relevant.
I was going to say that you unleashing that little factet or
Yes.
personal life into to the public. You've worked in the games industry. Does it? I mean, obviously, it's not going to be a simulation of what that is, because that might be a bit harsh. But is it a good? Is it? I don't know. Is it relevant? Is it a good experience based on what you know?
There was a lot less swearing in it than I remember. I mean, in the game compared to real life. But there were some definite decisions that you were making in it that really were those that you might make around a real game.
Right.
What is your best memory?
Well, it's going to be a very soppy one. It's fairly recent, I'd say, within the last 15 years.
Should we get the music going?
I might. I'm probably about 10 years on, I think. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, at the very end of the credit scene, effectively the guy is reunited with his 5-year-old daughter. There's a bit where he's kind of made his money as being a pirate. He's travelling home on a ship, and he's got at the wheel. And next to him is like a little chair, and this little girl is his daughter. And it kind of brought it back to me as I was a fairly recent father back then of, you've got this little companion who's super interested in everything that you do and wants to be involved in everything you do and follows you around and asks questions. But what's that? What are you doing now? What's going on now? And I thought that really kind of got to me. Even though there's no dialogue in there at all, I thought, oh, wow, that's amazing. But then I have to wonder at the audience, because I imagine the average 15-year-old player isn't thinking the same thing I'm thinking. So,
no.
But for me, that for me was really special. That's a lovely memory. I think that I just thought, well done on that, and that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And yourself, best memory?
You just made me think. Well, my daughter and I have played through most of It Takes Two. Which is a really great game that came out a couple of years ago, that you can only play as 2-player. It really needs both of you solving puzzles together. I mean, quite often she's an awful lot better at it than me, but it was just nice playing that game, seeing the puzzles that she worked out. I'm like, what's going on here? Just, not just because she could do the buttons better or anything like that, but she just thought in a different way, and that was just fun doing that together. In terms of just things on my own, I'm not really a completer finisher type of person, so I don't often play a game to its final finish, its win condition, and that's why I don't play lots of games like Doom and that kind of thing. And I was chuffed to finish XCOM 2, and it's
very good.
It's even harder expansion as well. I managed to do that because in the original UFO Enemy, I can't say that. I'll try it again. In the original UFO Enemy Unknown in the 90s, my brother managed to complete it, or I think he did, but at least he was a lot better at it than I was. So it was cathartic completing that one. As well as it's just a great game with fantastic balance and the tension creeping through the wrecked landscapes when you've got out there with your laser squad type battle scenes. So I was really pleased to get that one finished.
I've been playing that fairly recently, the newer ones, and it's a tense game, and you really think it through.
Yes, you have to, because if you get it a little wrong and your entire really experienced squad is wiped out, you're like, no.
You've got one person left thinking, oh, well, my entire team I spent all this time investing resources and they're all dead. And you go, oh, well, no.
Where's the save game?
Yes, where's my save game? I'll reload that again.
What would be your oldest memory?
Well, so it's not the first game I've played for sure, but I don't have that many memories of playing things like Pong and Asteroids and stuff. But I think the memory that's kept with me, I think, in terms of being excited about a game, has probably been Night Law from Ultimate. And I remember when Ultimate made a game, or was bringing one out for the Spectrum, it was a real event. You must get that, it's going to be great. Yeah. And Night Law was great. It was like 3D isometric graphics, and it was all new and wonderful. And I remember getting home and playing it continuously for what seemed like about 9 years.
Is that not like just how long it took to load? No?
That's right. Yes, it did. About 15 times loading it, in succession. But that was probably my oldest but strongest memory of the game was the Ultimate, and that's probably they're one of their best games, I think. that I've played. But yourself, Kieran, your oldest memory?
It's a bit of a struggle. I'll skip the obvious jokes of last week as the oldest memory that I've got, or anything else age-related. In terms of us getting a computer, I only vaguely remember Dad bringing home our Specky 48K, and I don't quite clearly remember what I played on there first. The weirdest early memory was actually at Dad's work, and he worked in one of the big management consultancy companies in IT in the days when you had massive towers of computers. And sometimes at the weekend, he took my brother and I into the office. And one of the computers in there, I've no idea what kind of computer it was, had an air traffic control sim on it. And at least I hope it was a sim, because we crashed quite a lot of planes. I mean, it was basic, but the screen looked like what I imagined as a 10-year-old it must look like in a control tower. It was weird, but it was fun. But maybe it just seemed to be fun because it was pretty boring hanging around in an office. So anything was better than that.
That's a great point. I remember playing. There are some games I used to really love playing in the 90s, like submarine simulators, where your only interaction was listening to a ping. Oh, yeah. Great! Ooh. And you think, well, probably in terms of interaction and gameplay. At one level, it's like there's not much there really, but because of the context, you're like, wow, this is awesome. So interesting, nice one.
It's an interesting point because a few people have said, well, why don't you play some old games or review some old games through the podcast, which we could well do. But I did download Silent Service, which is one of those old through GOG on the PC, and it wasn't quite as great as I remember, but we can do some of that stuff and revisit those golden oldies and see what we think about them now.
Some games you just can't go back to, I think.
No, it's not quite the same. But let's look forward a little bit. Well, we'll start with now. So what are you playing at the moment?
Yeah, so I've been playing it. So I've got the Xbox Game Pass. So I got the Starfield, which I sort of enjoyed that. I liked that, and I completed it. And there's exploration there, but I gotta say, the downside, all the planets are basically the same, pretty much, that you explore. There's a lot of them, but they're all pretty much the same. So I'm now playing Call of Duty Plunder, which I love very much. I really enjoy it because there's lots of little secrets in the game that you can once you find out, you can plan things really well, and you can turn the tables on these 15, 20-year-olds who've got good reflexes, know what they're doing, can shoot properly and stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm up to at the moment. Kieran, how about yourself?
I'm finishing a long campaign in a game called Crusader Kings 3. It's a grand strategy game. You play a ruler, you conquer like neighbouring counties, duchies, kingdoms. There's all kinds of political choices, family choices like who to marry or making alliances. There's intrigues and plots and murders and really awful things too, like plots to kill your sons because you only want one heir, so you got to knock the extra sons off. It's some of it's awful, but I think some of that's actually historically accurate. Like you were saying in the last episode, Johnny, about learning from games, is so much packed into about real historical leaders, long-running dynasties, massive struggles like between the Muslims and the Christians in the Iberian Peninsula, or the Normans invading England, or the growth of the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And complex rules, the Casus Belli, or Belli, not quite sure how to pronounce it, it's Latin, for the rules that used to exist for how you could declare war reasonably, and what you could claim as victory conditions that came from, I think, the chivalric rules of the time. So there's there's like laws that you have to learn about in order to know how to win the game. So it's immense, it's huge. I don't know if fun's the right word, but it's a pretty involving game.
Immersive. Yeah, tip-top.
Yeah, it is. So what are you most looking forward to coming up soon?
Well, it's not a happy story. I was really looking forward to Star Wars Outlaws. Really looking forward to that. But I don't know. I just don't want to pay £100 for a game. I just haven't lost that part of myself yet where I'm going to do it. And also as well, the reviews have been fairly indifferent say the least. And I was over at this little place we go for a coffee in the farm in Winchester, and the people that work there are big gamers, and that's like, no, think twice. It's one of these that looks great, but there's
How deep is it going to go?
Yeah, and it's like with Grand Theft Auto, you can go and do loads of stuff. It's not like that. It's just set pieces you can interact with in almost like a painting, really. And I thought, so I don't know now. I'm not sure. I do suffer from buyer's remorse an awful lot, more than I really should, more than I have to, but I do still. And I don't want to. And also, I think I just kind of stamp my little feet having to pay £100 for a game, and shake my little fist at the screen and stuff.
I suppose maybe we'll talk about game economy later, but when you sort of weigh it up against a family trip to the cinema, it still feels like good value for money.
Yeah, it's true enough. What about yourself, though, Kieran? What about yourself?
There's a new Civilization game coming out early next year. I know that's, as mentioned in my top 4. I've been playing that since the PC in the 90s. Many campaigns, many just one more turn situations and late nights. So it's just a classic for that experience. I'll stop playing when I've won this war, or there's a world wonder that you're just about to finish and you want to get that done, and then when you do, then you find a new continent and you just want to explore that, and it just keeps going on. So I'm looking forward to see what they've done to keep the game fresh. It's the basic concept is over 30 years old. It sounds like they've added some new layers that allow more goal-based games rather than just play through the whole of Civilization and see where you get to. So it'll be good to have that, but that might add a bit more to the one more turn thing of I'm just going to get to the end of this epoch or whatever they call them. Looking forward to that. But again, I think you can pre-order it now. It's not coming out till February, but it's got some price points that are 70, 80, 90 quid.
Are you a pre-order man?
I have done, yeah, sometimes. I suppose you go with pre-order the ones that you're pretty confident are going to be a success.
Yeah, that's a good point. I got hold of pre-order Battlefield 4, which was just an error. I don't think that game probably worked for at least 18 months after release. Yeah, I remember driving up the side of driving the side of a tower block, and I thought, I don't think I should be able to do this. I don't think this is in the game. Yeah, I think there's a whole episode on, as you say, game economics and what are the right ways to approach a game, and I guess going by the distributor's record as well and what they've done, and if this is good, then you've got a good feeling about them, and go for it.
What is the first game you remember playing?
Well, the first one I do remember playing sort of Space Invaders and Asteroids and the arcade and stuff and Pong, but I think the home computing thing, I want to say Manic Miner, mainly because it kept me playing and it was utterly impossible to play, and you had to be so perfect, but I didn't know any better, so I kept on trying. And every single screen you went into was like a different world, and it was like just felt a sense of wonder at it all. Looking back, going back to it now, I don't. You'd be unsurprised to learn I don't feel that way anymore about Manic Miner, but at the time there was nothing quite like it. And even when you jump up, there'd be like a little gap at the top of the level. You go, just jump up, and your head would go through the little gap, and you'd see it. You go, what could that be about? Oh my gosh! And land back down again and die.
It's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was me. That's my first. That's the first game I have proper memories of playing. As you know. What about yourself? Are you a Spectrum man?
Yeah, I was a Spectrum man, and actually I'd say the same thing. It was Manic Miner. I think that was the game that came with the Specky when it came home. But the main thing I remember from it is the non-stop Hall of the Mountain King music just going on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fun times jumping through those holes to your death.
Yeah, I do wonder sometimes if you saw people say, Manic Miner is a game that really inspired me, wonderful, and then probably the corollary is that it's just after they came out of prison or something. I've been driven mad by the soundtrack playing repetitively for hours and hours and hours. Yeah. So do you have so I've been waiting for this, to be honest, all podcasts, wondering what this could be. What is this surprise question?
Our unseen question.
Yeah.
Well, the one that I've come up with for you is, what game do you wish you got to play when you were a kid?
Oh gosh, that is a great question. I seem to recall a game called Timegate that
Right.
my friend had, and it was basically you went through time as a pilot, not
Yeah.
the one that was set, not the top down one where you just shot different aircraft and jets and stuff, but there's one went through space, and I was just the idea you could go through time, even in the computer game and do different things. Just thinking of that, I really wanted to give it a go. And even though I've seen kind of like there's YouTube videos of it, it looks pretty naff. Going through time is apparently going through concentric squares on a screen.
I know.
But well, it could be. Who knows, right?
That's very true. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. So maybe, but that's what I wanted to play. I never got a chance to play it, strangely. And then by the time I had the opportunity to play it, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
So I think that was a moment lost, maybe in time. But for you, Kieran, the question is there any fictional, science fictional, entertainment character series that you would love to see made as a game?
Oh, that is a good question. There is, yeah. I mean, there's so much out there. I like, talking of going through time, Asimov's Foundation series. There's so much potential in that one, and probably a great deal of relevance to some of the stuff that's beginning to happen now with AI and doing predictive things with data science. We won't get down that route just now. You could well imagine an adventure game or something like that based around the Foundation series. That's Isaac Asimov, for anyone that's not heard of it.
Love that series. Amazing set of books. And I know what you mean. You could very easily thread, tidbits of real life data science in there.
Yeah, no Python script.
Yeah, exactly. To code your own version of Harry Seldon's algorithm, So but you do get to learn about things, which I think is fine. I think it's good. But yeah, nice one, awesome. Mm-hmm. That's. I think that would be. I would definitely play that, Kieran, for sure, without a doubt.
Okay, well, that was fun going through all that. It's great to hear more about your past in gaming, Johnny. We didn't see each other's answers before now, which is why we probably both said Manic Miner, and that wasn't planned in any way. Genuinely true. So it's good to hear it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised to learn, although maybe not actually, given how I first got to know you, but the amount of games that you play that are all about sort of planning. But maybe that's probably shouldn't have been a surprise, given that where I first kind of knew you from. I think that probably makes perfect sense now. But when you mentioned the kind of the Football Manager game, the Civilization type game, I kind of thought there's a theme that runs through there of planning. So yeah, actually now it kind of makes kind of perfect sense, really. But I'm surprised that Tribal Wars was never mentioned, Kieran.
Well, that would probably have gone into my worst memory. Yeah.
Yes, probably a game with probably 1982 graphics, but with gameplay that you would just, I don't know, it was very addictive. Let's put it that way.
That one did remind me, which was something Johnny and I played, not at work, but
No.
It was something that was played by our work group outside of work time. Back, it might even have been the 80s, early 90s. There was the thing of the play-by-mail games where it was literally a printout of paper and you would fill out some instructions and post it back. And I remember playing one, it was like a Gangs of New York thing. And yeah, you would be like trying to take over the neighbouring block and doing like all your drug deals and bank robberies and planning those out. And that's what Tribal Wars reminded me of. Slightly more advanced than that, but it definitely wasn't an advanced game. But yeah, it's involving.
Recommend. It's still going strong. I keep looking to see if it's still there. And it is. It's still a test of time. But I don't. I just don't. I can't trust myself, Kieran.
No, you don't go back there. Stay away.
I can't. I can't do it.
Of course, what we do want is to hear what your best games were, your first memories of games, the first cassette or disc that you brought home, what you're looking forward to in games out there in listener land. Get onto our Facebook page, comment there, see what other listeners are saying as well. It'd be fantastic to see you all sharing and connecting together.
Yeah, that would be great. We've got plans for more content, and this is a kind of a whistle-stop tour through our own respective histories. And the next couple of episodes, we'll dive a bit more into each of our gaming lives, taking one each. It'll be hosted by the other, so I'll be asking Kieran the questions one week, and Kieran will be asking me questions the next, and we'll just see how long we can keep going for without one of us breaking down into tears or something.
Fingers crossed there's more than 5 minutes of content in there, but I think there's a few things that have come up today that no doubt we can talk until it's more likely the listeners will have breakdowns rather than us. We'll just keep going. The goal is to spark your memories out there too. We'll be using what we do in these first episodes to learn more about this topic, about gaming, retirement, gaming in the past as well. I think we've touched on a lot of memories here, and use that in future interviews or discussions with the listeners and people from the games industry too.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, great fun to do that first interview episode, I think, for sure.
Yeah, bit daunting, but looking forward to it. After we've done these 2 deep dives, the episode after, we'll talk more about our plans ahead for the podcast, see what you guys are saying, and Johnny and I will take a first peek at that topic over the horizon, what we might do when we get to retirement and doing with gaming during that time.
Yes, I need something to split up my time as I retire to my cardboard box and begin to shout at passing cars in the Sainsbury's roundabout.
Should be more dignified than that.
I don't think so.
But our retirement is quite a long way off, so we've got plenty of time to find out what others are doing and planning on doing when they retire through this podcast series. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening to this work in progress episode of the Horace Goes Podcasting for Gamers with Pong Memories podcast. And I can't wait to make the next one for you all.
Yeah, me too. Take care, everybody. All the very best.